Friends, do you feel like you have control over your life? Is your life happy, peaceful, and fulfilled? Do you feel like you are living the life that you were meant to live? This video series or lecture is about feeling your way. And I'm not talking about emotions, and I'm not talking about our computer brain. I'm talking about bonding with our multidimensional blueprint. Our blueprint has a way to constantly communicate with you on everything that is occurring in your life, so that you can move through realities, multiple realities, or just the earth reality, in a way that is calm and fulfilled and has joy. The problem is our animal body runs our life, and it is so dominant because our reality is driven by the animal body ego that we cannot tune into the actual true feelings that are coming from our blueprint, our divine blueprint. So that's where our consciousness is attached. I have many videos on this. Our consciousness is not in the body. It's not anchored to the body. Our consciousness is anchored to our divine blueprint that is multidimensional. And what occurs is that most of humanity that is in aspirant level or below are dominated by their emotions. And practically everybody I know is pretty much aspirant level. There are some who have, 10, 20, 30% disciple level, maybe 40%, which is mind. See my 7 levels. But even that mind is a monkey mind. And mind has become God to disciples. So neither of those two are the true feelings that are being sent by your divine blueprint or your higher consciousness. You have this fight or flight reaction in your gut that occurs whenever your outer environment is not as your mind, which is habitual. Your mind is a brain, like a computer brain, that has been trained to be habitually reactive to the world around it. So when your habitual mind patterns, which are trained like little monkey minds, sees something it doesn't know, understand, or perceives as not what it wants, it sends these signals to your gut, your nervous system, in the nerves that are in your gut, and those cause emotional, sensory reaction. And so most of us are responding to life through our emotions and through our trained monkey mind. And the monkey mind was trained by the outer environment. So we are so predominant in this, we cannot feel our way through life like we were designed to be. I'll mention this one, even when we think we're falling in love with someone, we are responding to habitualized patterns in our mind, and we are responding to gut sensory reactions, or what a lot of people want to call it magnetic attraction or passion, or that first flush of love and then it wears off. That was never love to begin with. It was never love to begin with. I'm not denying that you might see someone and feel that towards them, that magnetic pulsing, that attraction. That, though, is an animal instinct that the male is emanating over the female for a purely primitive survival of the species energy to procreate. It has nothing to do with love. The male will go and procreate with you and get it out of his system and move on. That's like the animal kingdom. Now we've been trained to respond differently than that, but that is that instinct. That is not love. That is not divine love. That is not feeling a true spiritual connection with someone. And that reaction is the same anywhere. You feel threatened by someone. You feel, with what we're going through with the market crash, the coronavirus, and all this other stuff, it's highly threatening. And so most people are not responding necessarily through the feeling their way through this. The feeling aspect, now I'm going to move to what the feeling aspect is. First of all, after you move through aspirant and disciple level, that means you've learned to control those reactionary animal instincts, and you've learned to calm your monkey mind through disciplined meditation and mindfulness. I'm speaking to spiritual warriors here. I'm not speaking to lazy spiritual people who want to be spoon-fed information and don't work on themselves. I'm sorry, I'm blunt. But this time period we're in requires you guys that I know you're out there and you are spiritual warriors. It's time for you to get focused. And I am putting out videos constantly on focusing. I have a video on that, on lucid dreaming exercise. It's about focus, because I'm wanting to move these disciples and some of these aspirants into disciples and disciples into initiate. An initiate is when you begin to feel these more subtle impulses coming through your system because you've been meditating, you've been focusing on calming the emotions, you've been disciplining your mind from idle, stupid chatter. So when you get into the point where you are feeling the impulses from your divine blueprint, it is an entirely different flow of energy, entirely different. And while there's not many on the planet doing that compared to billions, there is this stream of energy that is flowing around the planet that is working through the flow of the divine blueprint. Our divine blueprint, which is connected to our soul. Remember, the soul is a container of consciousness that creates avatars by attaching consciousness to divine blueprints. So we have a blueprint. Our souls are in harmony with other souls that are here. And then there's a larger consciousness of souls and that are also here. And these higher souls, creating higher avatars, are all in this flow of the divine blueprint. When you can get yourself disciplined enough, you can finally raise up to a flow that is moving on this planet right now, and it's moving in the universe. That is an energy, that is a feeling energy, that is feeling like an internal peace, a underlying feeling of joy, and most importantly, as creators, as avatar creators, a feeling of fulfillment. Now, when you are in a physical form, like we are here on Earth, and remember, I've had many videos that after we leave here, our consciousness moves into the divine blueprint, and the divine blueprint creates a new body for us in a new reality. Bodies are abundant in the universe. But nevertheless, this body, your body, is unique and will never exist again. Your body, in this experience, with all the tools you've been given access to through your divine blueprint, is extremely valuable and very important to the expansion of consciousness and the universe. Treasure this time period that you are here on Earth. And I have spoken a lot about not being attached to the body so that you can make a transition into your next body and not go to the astral plane. So there's two concepts here. If you over-attach and become addicted to the body. In other words, emotional reactions, monkey mind, all those things that the body does. Then you transition over into astral world, continuously living that process that you lived here on earth. That's not what we want to do. So that's why I have many videos on being in the world, not of the world, detach from those lower forms of energy and move into your higher consciousness, which is your divine blueprint. So when I also say that this lifetime is very precious and very important, what I want you to realize is that this body is mortal. It is not immortal. Have higher beings been able to immortalize this body? Yes. There are immortals on the earth, but those immortals come from a position of having achieved a higher body. They've shifted their consciousness while living into their higher body, which I've often called a smart body, but they've been able to ascend into that body and then easily move that body in and out of this dimension, this density, and it looks like they're immortal. But they did not immortalize this animal body through animal consciousness. They achieved a higher consciousness, which that higher consciousness could maintain a body in an immortal state if it wanted to. But this is not the norm for all of life here on earth. Even trees that are thousands of years old, you know, they're not considered immortal. So I want you to understand, for the most part, these bodies are mortal. They are going to be gone. And all that you were will be, you might say, gone from humanity's mind, unless you have done something that people can remember for thousands of years. Pretty much your essence, you know, the impact you have may be gone from people's minds. So it's important that you not focus on the world and what it's going to do, because it's going to move along without us once we're gone. But what you need to focus on is that every body you inhabit, and you've inhabited many other bodies before here, not necessarily on earth, as I have said, all avatars are singular, individual sovereign beings. They do not reincarnate. But you do have a divine blueprint that has multiple levels of consciousness, which can create new bodies in different realities. So you have had other realities in your blueprint. So what you want to do, though, is make sure every lifetime you have is a lifetime that was fulfilled. You fulfilled your greatest potential. And in fulfilling your greatest potential, you bring that sense of peace and that inner joy. That peace and inner joy comes from fulfillment. And the fulfillment comes from moving through the world and acting in your reality from your highest potential. And when you are expressing your highest potential, now what you are is you are bonded with that blueprint and with that higher consciousness. And that is a feeling energy, because the mind, the higher mind, I've said this in other videos, the higher mind is still. It's not noisy, it's not emotional, it doesn't have addictions, it doesn't have that. So where does your day-to-day flow come? Where does the movement through life come from? It comes from the feelings that are being, it's a feeling, it's a pulse, it's an inner pulsing knowing that comes from your divine blueprint. And this feeling, it inhabits your entire space. It doesn't just operate in the gut. It doesn't just operate in the nervous system. It doesn't operate necessarily singularly with the computer brain. It is a feeling of knowing. And this knowing is calm. And this knowing is a peaceful joy. And the knowing is because you know that right now, in this moment, you are fulfilling your highest possible expression of the body you have been given. So think about these words I'm telling you. Joy, peace, and fulfillment come from the knowing, and your whole body system. That means your physical, emotional, mental complex knows it is fulfilling its absolute highest potential in this moment. And when you know that, you are at peace, and you're joyful, and you are fulfilled. And it makes no difference what the world is doing and who's doing what, because you don't have to respond to any of that. You respond, you let go of needing to solve problems. You let go of needing to respond to stimulus. You let go. And when you let go, you move with the flow. And when you move with this flow, you're going to find a whole bunch of cosmic beings that are sitting in that same flow. So there's the earth and all her noise, and the animal noise, and the computer mind noise, and moving around this earth is the flow. And when you get in that flow, life is going to be amazing. And then you are going to leave and drop this body when it's time, feeling, I have done my best here. I have learned, I have grown, it has been joyful, I feel fulfilled, and I'm ready to go to the next adventure. So think about those things, my friends, and I will see you in the next video.